to Relentless Talk Radio. This is episode 47. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've done 47 of these. This week, last year, I started doing Relentless Talk Radio. Initially, I was shooting the show at an internet radio station down in Phoenix, and then made a decision to go directly to Facebook and then onto YouTube. And this year, all of the episodes will be going over to podcasts. So stay tuned for that. I have my podcast set up. I just have to get all the recordings over there. It's an administrative task more than anything else. So what are we talking about today? So the food for thought topic today is getting out of your comfort zone and staying there. So every week, kind of midweek, I think, gosh, what am I dealing with this week, right? And what I realize is that I'm always out of my comfort zone. I don't even know what comfortable feels like anymore. And I think it came up this week because someone said to me, oh, I could never do that. So I could never ride a motorcycle, or I could never do an internet radio station, or I could never be an entrepreneur. I have to have that paycheck every week that I can count on. And so it got me to thinking about that idea of what's comfortable. I think, what I've discovered in life is that there is no comfort zone. Just when I think that I've got it all figured out, something changes. So the only thing we can actually count on is change. And so I'm always out of my comfort zone. So I've kind of accepted that as kind of like status quo for me. But I realize that some people aren't that way. Some folks, they get into their 9-to-5 deal, they get their schedule, and that's it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, really. However, they've done a lot of research about Alzheimer's and dementia. And, if you don't continually give your mind and your body and your life ways to grow, then you stop growing and you actually start atrophying. So it's kind of like exercise, If you want to, Doc and I are both in our fitness buffs, right? And so we can actually literally get stopped in the street on a regular basis. And a lot, for two people together that are in shape tend to get stopped, I guess. And so people will say, well, how do you do that? And when I think about it, it's just getting uncomfortable. In order to make your muscle grow, you have to be uncomfortable. And also knowing when to rest. Right now I'm going through a period of time of resting. I injured my hamstring in August, and it's still not right. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern and not pushing too hard. But at the same time, if you want to grow in business or grow a muscle or grow your mind, then you have to get uncomfortable. The only way we grow is through discomfort. It's actually by breaking down a muscle that it actually grows, right? So I think I've just gotten used to being uncomfortable. And I think that being uncomfortable and being out of my comfort zone is my normal. And in a way, that's kind of a blessing. I realize that more and more as days go on, that it's a blessing, because I have a lot of friends that, maybe they got married out of high school, which is a blessing, and they married the right guy out of high school, and they've been married for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, and they get into their just a way of doing things. It's just the way they do things, right? But then they get bored, and they have nothing to talk about, and they get jealous and resentful and weird. And so I just think that we have to continually do things, whether it's, maybe you've never been to the theater or the ballet, you've never been to the movies by yourself, or you've never gone out to dinner by yourself, or maybe you're really sick of working for somebody else and you just need to take the leap and just find a thing that you want to do and just go do it, whether it's finding the right network marketing organization or taking that idea that you've had for 20 years that you've been talking about and doing something with it, or, just trying something completely different, trying a completely different job in an area, in an industry that you've never been in, and just be uncomfortable with not knowing what the next thing is. You ever watch a movie and you know what the ending's going to be? Like, you watched it a couple times with a friend, and maybe your mom or dad wants to watch the movie, so you just kind of acquiesce and watch the movie. But the whole time you're not really inspired like the first time you watched it when you didn't know what was going to happen. That's what happens with our life when we keep on doing things that are predictable. We just keep on, it's like Groundhog Day. It's the same thing over and over again, and we never really grow. So, I just think that, getting out of your comfort zone, and I say, stay there. I mean, stay uncomfortable, go to hiking and, by yourself. Have you ever done that? Have you ever gone hiking by yourself? take your cell phone. We're lucky that we have that, but go hiking or go camping. I love it when I'm out my motorcycle myself. I don't know where I'm going. I barely got enough money to make it through the trip. And I just don't know what's going to happen next. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world to do. I like living in the unknown in a way, because I think that when you're in the unknown and you're out of your comfort zone, you're really hyper aware. You're sensory aware. So you're aware of the people around you, and food tastes better, and you're just more aware of what's happening. I think because everything you kind of your senses are turned back on. When we get into that spot where we just keep on doing the same thing over and over again and we're real comfortable, there's no growth. So I guess I'm challenging you and the folks that are on with me today to talk with me about a time where you were out of your comfort zone and you really had to convince yourself to get out of your comfort zone, and something really wonderful happened when you were there. Maybe something not so wonderful happened. Maybe you were out of your comfort zone and you failed. I mean, I think that's an interesting thing. Two of my girlfriends are falling in love right now, and it's really kind of cool to watch. But it's also a little kind of disconcerting for me because everyone's telling them, "Oh, be careful, you don't want to get hurt," or "Be careful, you're moving too fast," or "Just be careful, just be careful." You don't want to put your neck out there. And I don't know. I get it. I was in that position a year ago where I was done dating. I was done being hurt. But the reality is that when love comes your way, you just have to jump in there and feel it and be it and do it. I think sometimes the things that keeps relationships from working is for people not getting all in, not getting dirty, just not getting your hands into the mud and just really getting in there with somebody and just actually going through what it means to be in a relationship with somebody and learning who they are. I think that, living in fear is something that keeps people from ever becoming what the people that God put you here to be, just constantly being afraid that, oh, I might get hurt, or I might fail, or I might lose my retirement. So what? Maybe you do. You'll recover. I was recently talking with a friend this week who's just in a bit of transition and just, not having the best of time with it. And what I said to him was, you know what? You have 100% track record of success. Every time you've gone through something funky, you've been able to get through it and come out on the other side successfully. Every single dang time. If you're an entrepreneur, you've had lean times. You had times where you were, just not knowing where the next dollar was going to come from. And you're down to your last couple bucks and you're thinking, holy crap, when's that next job going to come in? And then all of a sudden it does. And maybe it's the biggest job ever. Maybe you that's the job that makes you turn the corner. So, I think that, the reality is that life is out of the comfort zone. Change is inevitable. At any time that you get into a place where you're completely comfortable, just be ready for the next thing to change, because something's going to change. So you might as well get comfortable with being uncomfortable and just stay there, because that's life, right? So I'm really looking forward to talking to Anne-Marie and Alyssa today about their businesses. Anne-Marie is a health coach and a fitness expert, and her nutrition partner is like mine, Isogenics. And then also Alyssa is a mortgage representative. She's an amazing mortgage person here in the Valley, using Cherry Creek Mortgage as her backer. And then also she has a company called Color My Credit that does credit education. I think you'll be interested to hear what she has to say about that. So I'm going to sign off of here, and I'm going to go get Anne-Marie, and we're going to talk about how they got comfortable with being out of their comfort zone. All right, everybody, we'll be right back.